You are listening to an All Games Radio Network broadcast of AllGames.com.
Every Thursday, be prepared to have your mind as geekantics.net and gamingdeath.com bring you
the Gaming Death Podcast,
featuring all your favorite hosts,
Chris, Caleb, HorsePLAY.
Listen as they get together to talk all about
video games.
Admission is completely
free.
First 100 viewers will get a free dick joke.
Thursday.
Every Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Twitch.tv/gamingdeath.
We thank you. We thank you for every crumb, biscuit, and cake you...
Hi, this is Normie from Knuckleballer Radio and Zombie Cast, and you're listening to one of my favorite shows on the Geeky Antics Network. Don't forget to check out the rest of the gang over at geekyantics.net. Warning, there might be rants and food ahead and possibly inappropriate behavior. Don't tell anybody though.
Welcome, geeks, gamers, furries, and ninja robots. This is HorsePLAY Live. Today is Thursday, July 6th, and this is episode 186 of HorsePLAY, tentatively titled, Now You Have the Power. And it's the first of the month, the first show of the month, the first HorsePLAY Live release. And I'm your bald bear lizard host, Yogizilla. And it's just me tonight, just solo. It's probably going to be a short show. Just going to give you a heads up, so if you're a regular, I apologize, but we're going to put a little bit of quality in there, hopefully. Mainly just BSing tonight. I don't have as much news or topics planned. Go figure. Just be lots of rants. And just a little bit of housekeeping if you're new to the show. We do the show every Thursday night, 11 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific, 4 a.m. GMT, which I'm now calling BT, British time, which is confusing. I don't know. Same thing, but... you know, what is it? EST, ET, Eastern -5, or whatever is BT or GMT. So yeah, that's the thing. And we do it over at twitch.tv/geekyantics. Again, twitch.tv/geekyantics. And some people have trouble spelling the word geeky, apparently. Which, shame on you if you're a geek. It's GEEKY, A-N as in Nancy, TICS. Geeky Antics, you know, because shenanigans would have been too long of a word and people would have really messed that up. That's our Twitch channel. We also have our HorsePLAY replay, our reruns, every Thursday before a nice block of stuff on all games, including Dead Pixel Live. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you're on the West Coast, it could be like your afternoon show. You can listen to that semi-live. It plays on the... you know, their radio station is 24/7 at allgames.com, pseudo live. We're not really there, but I usually try to lurk in the chat room at least, you know. And a quick shout out to Cupcake Envy, and apparently she doesn't have internet, and she's been meaning to get on the show. We miss you. Hope we get everything sorted out soon. And you always got a seat here. We'll keep it warm for you, and we'll try not to fart in it. And if that joke wasn't any indicator, the show is inappropriate, and at times greatly NSFW. Yeah, you know, we make jokes that may offend some. We don't mean to. We're just having fun. So take everything with a grain of salt and just have a good old time with us. Come along for the ride. And that's pretty much all the housekeeping. Actually, no. we have 2 more plugs. Well, one's a plug and one's more of an invitation. We want you to join us for the ongoing conversations over at Discord. Discord's a free chat. If you haven't heard about it, it's a free chat server platform, better said. Kind of like Ventrilo or TeamSpeak or Raid Call or anything of the sort. But it seems more feature-rich. I would compare it more to a Spark or Slack if you're on the business side of those collaborative / communication platforms. So if you want to get on there, it's geekyantics.net/Discord. Again, geekyantics.net/Discord, and take you straight to the server that we have set up. And there's a desktop app and there's a mobile app, so you can connect wherever you are, whenever you want. And it's free. Did I mention it's free? Also, our pal Stan Farina has his new book. I finished it. I'm proud. I actually finished the book that wasn't reference material, and it was very enjoyable. I can't wait for the next installment. This is book 1 of what I expect would be a very long series of books, because there's a lot of story here, and I'm pretty excited to see what happens next. I know he has a preview manuscript, but I'm scared to jump ahead. I'll wait for the finished product. But Stan, if you want me to proofread it for you, I'll help you. I am really eager to see what happens next. So that's over. If you just go to Amazon.com and search for Stan Farina, Faryna, and you'll find his book, no problem. And it's under $10. You can't beat it. So definitely pick it up and support a fellow starving artist. Let's jump right in. Get some TMI kind of stuff to share with you. Mainly just random thoughts. I meant to share last week, but we had other hosts. I didn't want to dip into the time, but since I'm solo, this is how I'm going to pad the time, talk about absolutely useless shit. Yeah, that's what I do. But first off, Shakira. So I've kind of been back on my Latin music kick. Mostly a lot of salsa and merengue, but some bachata too. But Shakira always comes up in these Latin mixes. And I really dig her music. She has this really kind of Cranberries quality to her voice. And it works. And it's funny because it's only really evident when she sings in Spanish. When she sings in English, not so much. But every time I listen to her music, I'm really just thinking about how hot she is. She's a freaking cutie. She's just short and tight in all the right places and just a beautiful face. Oh, that woman. I dated a girl named Shakira, and I remember before Shakira became popular for the common unwashed masses, my friends used to make fun of me, like, Shakira, what kind of name is that? And some people said, oh, is she a black girl? I'm like, no, she's Puerto Rican. And they're not a world of difference there, but still, that's racist. And now everybody's like, Shakira's hot. Well, not so much. I think the craze kind of died down, but at one point she was pretty highly sought after. I would say she was on the top of the fat bank or spank bank, better said, for a lot of guys. So that's my random thought there. And speaking of salsa, if you like salsa music, one of my favorite songs is called Devorrame Otra Vez, and that's it's random thought. It probably won't matter to most people, but I always think of it as an Eddie Santiago song, but it's actually a Lalo Rodriguez song. This is a little fun fact there. So check it out. If you watch some of those old salsa videos, it's pretty interesting seeing like the people trying to dance and get into it. Sometimes they just kind of do a little shuffle, like a lazy kind of dance. Entertaining. I see Beard and Hat in the chat here. He's resounding the racist thing. Yes, he is. And Ward Chat, who can't join us because he's I think on baby duty. He said giggity and night all. I guess he's just passing by to say hello and goodbye. Also, I'm a little spent. I've been doing manual labor because my boss, was a firm believer that to build team spirit and to really get appreciation for how a business functions, you should operate at all levels of it. And it's sound logic, and for the most part I agree. The problem with that is that it doesn't take into account that some people are just not built for certain kind of work, and you gotta really put people where they're best at, where they've not just the comfort zone, but where they really excel. And I'm well past my shelf life when it comes to manual labor. And before, I used to throw boxes around and not care, work 16, 18-hour days, and then go out and party all night, and then go back to work the next day without even sleeping. Nowadays, man, I need to take frequent breaks. I'm like, whew. And there's been like a heat wave here in Georgia, which isn't saying much. I guess heat wave in Georgia is normal weather in Georgia, but it's been particularly hot. Just like yesterday, it felt like 104, and if you just check your car thermometer and it was out in the sun all day, that's pretty much what it would be registering. It got so bad that one news channel cooked pizza and some eggs on the dashboard just for off the heat. So back to the manual labor. So we're all working, doing warehouse operations as part of a huge inventory for one of our biggest accounts. I think it's actually our second biggest account. That's all I can say about it. It's a big company. And I see TK Nightmare in the house there. What's up? So for me, that's mainly manifested as being the guy that's doing audits and second counts and making sure that people are, following the processes and whatnot, and spot checking stuff. And a lot of times it simply means getting a pallet off of a rack, taking all the stuff out of it and counting it. Of course, if it's a lot of small things, what we do is, for those in warehousing, you're probably familiar with the term tear weight, which is just like the tear weight is just the container weight, where you zero out, so you're not counting the weight of that container when you put all the stuff in it, and then count all each individual thing. So yeah, once you get the tear weight, zero that out. Then you gotta give a sample size. We usually have it like 5 of the item, and then you put 5 on there, and then they can see by the average weight how much each unit typically weighs, and then you just put the whole thing in the container and weigh the whole thing, and then it saves you a lot of time of having to count these individually, especially if you're talking about like thousands or hundreds of pieces even. You mistakenly made ESO? Yeah, a lot of people playing ESO again. I'm tempted. I just don't have much time for gaming lately. But I know my brother's playing tomorrow night. He was saying that on our line chat for the guild. So that should be interesting. It's a fun game to play when you're drinking, in particular. You can just ride your mount around forever and not really worry about a thing, like la 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 la. And those areas in that game are huge. You could get lost for sure. So anyway, yeah, we're doing the manual labor, so that's got me pooped, especially since we'll be starting around 6 or 7 in the morning and then going on to 5. It does seem like a lot when you're talking about, labor intensive stuff. Oh yeah. Fortunately, I keep having a lucky break where my talents are needed elsewhere. Oh, the internet's out. Oh, this server isn't working. The time clock stopped working. The printer caught fire, and that's actually not an exaggeration. Well, maybe slightly. So another DLC comes up for ESO called Horn of Reach. 2 new vet dungeons and new monster sets. This is gonna keep the vet dungeons coming out and the monster sets. It'll never end. It is truly MMO, just endless content. And just when you're catching up, you have to start all over. Yep, you're never truly caught up. It's the World of Warcraft sickness. But anyway, on top of the manual labor, I've had explosive diarrhea, so that's great. It's just weird because I've been eating a lot of fiber lately and taking the fiber supplement. I think the pepperoncinis that I ate did it. I ate a lot of peppers recently, so they finally caught up. And it's some spicy farts, those kind of burn a little bit. Yeah. Yep. I said it was gonna be TMI. Anywho, So this month is interesting. We're in July 2017. It's kind of a monumental thing because apparently this is the only time. It happens once every 800 and something years. I didn't remember the exact stat. But it's the only time you'll see 5 Fridays and 5 Saturdays in 1 month. Now, actually, the stat they said was 5. I think they say 5 Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. I forget how they said it. Was it Thursday? But they messed up because the first Friday of July was actually, well, the last Friday of June was the 30th. So I guess it's this is the only time in 800 years you have 5 Saturdays and Sundays in a row in 1 month. Yeah, that does hold true. Let me see. Now I have to double check. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we'll do in pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, so 5 Saturdays and Sundays. That's the thing. I'm correcting my notes now for posterity. There you go. And I think my aunt sent me something in Spanish. She said the Chinese called this the bolsillo de dinero or something like that, or bolsa de dinero, like a bag or a pocket of money. I forget what she said. So there's actually a term for it. Isn't super lucky. So if you can't make it happen this month, just throw in a towel. Nah, I'm kidding. Is anybody watching iZombie? Just real curious there, because I've been catching up on that, and man, it's kind of really good. I have 2 more episodes to go, and that show always a fun change of pace. And Peyton is such a cutie. She's not usually my type because she's a little too glam. Like, she looks like she could be high maintenance, but I just find her so adorable. And she just had an episode where she did the whole dominatrix thing, and I was like, yep, lost it on that. And when I said it was gonna be a short show, I'm not kidding, because I got the bubble guts, and I'm like, I'm gonna soldier through. We got just a couple of news bits today, and they're pretty rant worthy. Not as good to rant by yourself, but the first one I'm excited about is the SEGA Forever, which some may say may be the worst thing ever, others may say is the best thing ever. Oh yeah, new season of Game of Thrones is it next week? Wow. So binge watching that. It's well, good thing they're short seasons, so not too bad. So yeah, SEGA Forever, from what I've seen, is just games ported to mobile, and they ported it on via Unity, so you can have, you know, more platforms supported. I guess the plans are not just to port it to mobile, but port it to other platforms they may have missed before. You know, Unity's good for that cross-platform aspect. But a lot of the fans were kind of ragging on Sega because they said that there was some audio issues and streaming issues and all kinds of fun stuff of the sort. And let's see, I'll pull up the interview to see some of the key points here. They talked with, this is an article by Martin Robinson over at Eurogamer. Pretty well established outlet. Let's see. This came out end of June on the 26th. So he said last week Sega announced, so this was during E3, it was going to bring a selection of its back catalog to mobile and possibly beyond with SEGA Forever, a service that would allow people to play classic games for free. So already I'm excited, right? It was almost too good to be true, and it turns out it kind of was. The set emulation was found to be subpar, with Digital Foundry's John Linman warning players away from the games. They weren't the only issues present, with owners of older versions of the game experiencing new problems while developers Libretto, who are behind RetroArch, an emulator that's widely held to be superior to the one powering SEGA Forever, revealing it had walked away from a deal. Oh. With this in mind, we spoke to SEGA Network's marketing officer, Mike Evans, a key figure behind SEGA Forever, to see what the future holds for the service. Let's see. It's safe to say the launch hasn't been as smooth. Let's see. The launch itself has been really positive, so Mike Evans said. If you look at the vast majority of feedback, it's been strong. If you look at the ratings in the App Store from consumer, there's definitely some very good sentiment as well. Is there room for improvement like anything else? Yeah, there is. So he's playing it pretty PC. This guy's hair is way too nice to be into video games. You gotta have like a receding hairline or be balding or something to be credible in my book. I'm kidding. One of the ones. So it says the interview goes on to say, "You say it's been positive, but I'm looking at the top reviews. I know they're not gospel and are prone to hyperbole. One of the top ones on the App Store for Altered Beast says SEGA Forever is a massive joke. You look at Phantasy Star as well. This needs to take massive steps with the emulation. These aren't specialist guys. These are the top reviews on app and others. And it's kind of poop. We need to look at the this is what Mike Evans said. We need to look at the larger trends on reviews as well. So rather than the spot checking ones to represent the overall feel, we've been actively listening to all the reviews and try to figure out if there's an area that we need to address. So he's looking for common threads. That's the right thing to do. You know, because people always nitpick, and they're usually assholes. He said, Phantasy Star is the title where we need to have the most work, if we're honest. We had a couple of challenges with Sonic out of the gate, and with users not being able to disable ads. We submitted an update yesterday, and that fixed it. Alright, so... One of the big questions people are asking is why their expensive, very powerful devices cannot run games which used to run absolutely perfectly on a machine which had 72K of RAM. Mike Evans goes on to say that, you know, there's a lot of variables and, you know, fragmentation and blah 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 blah. And he said it's a soft launch, so yada yada yada. And the interview goes, he had problems with stuttering and audio issues. A lot of people are asking why we used to have versions of these games that used to run perfectly on mobile back as long as 2009, which is why is it that these aren't working? Then Mike Evans goes, it's difficult to comment on an individual case because of fragmentation. Back to the fragmentation. Well, like I say, it's a small proportion. Then the interviewer slams Unity. It's renowned for being cheap and easy, but not necessarily giving you the best results. Yeah, but Unity's... Yeah, I guess Unity for a big developer, big studio, seems kind of like, what? So, I see what you're saying. Anyway. Yeah, I'm tired. It's been a long day. But, you know, there's some good points in here. Oh, and it's saying they're going back to Play SEGA. That it kind of petered out. Mike Evans says, I worked on Play SEGA back in the day. It was a great product. This is very different. First of all, Play SEGA wasn't featuring a lot of SEGA content. Games were recreated. It had a business model that was very, very different. It was a paid model with tokens as opposed to a free model. You think about a lot of the content available is in different forms. Some good, some bad, some illegal. It is very difficult for that to compete on a price-cost basis. I love to see now we're in Unity bringing this across to desktop as well. You see this in how Miniclip works. The idea for me eventually is allow consumers to choose. So there's some good stuff there. Overall, I just say it's free. So why are people really bitching? And Nintendo did something similar. They'd be charging for each of the games like they do all the time. people will keep and their loyalists will just keep buying the same games over and over and over and over again, which is insane, but that's what people do. So, last thing I'm going to mention is Nintendo. I guess Sega's antithesis or arch enemy. They've been in the game industry now for 40 years. And I guess this is effective today, July 6th. Now, for those that don't know, they've actually been around since I want to say the late 1800s. The late 1800s. They made games, Hanafuda card games. So they have a lot of experience with gaming. So let's see. Their first pieces of hardware software, the Color TV Game 6 and the Color TV Game 15, which was released in July 1997. And for reference, only a few months after the original Star Wars. It sure is. The two games, like many of the others of the time, were Pong clones, and due to their cheap costs relative to other games of the time, they quickly grew popular. And it wasn't long afterwards that Nintendo got into arcade cabinets, then home consoles, and finally world domination. Yep, well, in a monetary sense, they made a point of that. There's a few little interesting articles floating around. This is a quick write-up on NintendoWire.com. Well, bottom line, 40 years in the gaming industry, and they're so far behind the rest of the industry in terms of overall presence, market share. You got brand recognition, obviously, right? First party, I guess you could say they're killing that. But it's still... oh, right. Sorry, guys. They still can't get the internet thing right. And I get a lot of people say, well, they don't need to, because you know they're mostly games you're supposed to play couch co-op or single player experience, and they're deep, rich, meaningful, immersive experiences, or the experiences with high replay value. Blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. I would like some kind of online that really was compelling and worked across their platforms. They started to have some really cool things like on the website. They'll track your activity and most games played. They did that with the Wii, but just so much of what they have online is just segmented, fragmentation. And if you just kind of brought it all together, it'd be great. But I guess they don't know how to do that. So, boo. By the way, a quick reminder before I forget, I think Microsoft is doing on and off their version of Steam Summer Sale, and Amazon Prime Day is next week, July 11th. That's the official day. But they're doing daily deals and giveaways. Oh man, well, yeah, I'm beat. It's about time to wrap it up. I don't want to keep yawning in you guys' ears. But remember the commercial? Now you have the power glove. Remember that? Nintendo used to have a way of capturing your hearts and minds. I guess you can say the same about Sega, and maybe it's not even a thing with the old guard. I think it's just maybe just the way the industry has moved. The hype train is still around, but it's lost some of its magic, its intimacy. It's more visceral, less memorable. You can get caught up in the moment, but months, weeks, maybe even days from when you hear about something or experience something, it's probably forgotten. Meanwhile, you very distinctly remember opening up strange, oddly shaped boxes for microcomputer games, or walking through a Babbage's or Software Etc. and seeing the displays they have for different gaming consoles and accessories, and it was just a real experience. And it's a culmination of things, you know. I guess I'm just gonna rant now about the good old days, but I'm an old fart. What can I say? Especially today, I definitely feel old. But you know, you have online shopping. There's no whining and dining there. It's just impulsive, right? Online shopping, if you really think about it, is the equivalent of going to the store to buy one thing, and then while you wait in line, you're just picking things off of the impulse displays. You know, the end caps and the shelves that are right before you get to the cashier. If you're not doing self-checkout, or even self-checkout, it still kind of applies, because you might still have a line, or, you know, something will catch your eye, and then you're just getting shit you didn't really want to. And I think online shopping the same way, but it's not like this thing where you really fall in love with an item. It's just kind of a knee-jerk reaction, you know. And maybe it's just me. It might just be me, but I think some of that magic has been lost. There's still quality games being put out, but it's like it's all a grain of sand in the grand scheme of things. Will we be looking back to, you know, the upcoming Mario Odyssey or Zelda Breath of the Wild, you know? Will the Switch be remembered? I think the Wii made its mark, you know? So they have that on their side. But that's seductive storytelling is just missing in the industry as a whole, I feel. Again, that magic, that elusive magic. You know, and a lot of the stuff is cyclical. But I feel also like they used to take risks, and you didn't regret investing in something you believed in. I enjoyed the Power Glove. It needed some more development. It needed more support. But I was glad I got to be a part of that, and it was well ahead of its time. And there were things they were experimenting with in the 80s, and not just the 80s, but in the 80s specifically. I remember seeing a lot of motion control ideas, like a mat that had like a kind of infrared field, and you'd use your hands, different gestures over it to control things. It was kind of a take on what the Power Glove was doing without the mechanical aspects. Hands-free, wireless, you know. There was another thing that you'd put around. It was a headband you put around your head, and it would measure brain activity or your blood vessels or something to control what was going on. Really neat things, and a lot of it was really glitchy, but it was very forward-thinking. And now I feel like the gaming industry is all about, hey, more pixels, more RAM, bigger hard drives, more pixels. Do you mention more pixels? And that's about as far as it gets, you know. And then there's on the other side is like, oh, what a great story. And a great story doesn't necessarily mean a memorable experience. Sad to say, because if the gameplay isn't there to make it really stick, you're just kind of soldiering through it and saying to yourself, deep down inside, man, I wish they made that into a movie. You know, the games of old were able to tell compelling stories with less, because we were able to imagine a lot more in our heads, and we just, at the end of the day, we just enjoyed the gameplay. So it's a whole different time for sure. But congrats to Nintendo for 40 years of bringing us goodness. I like to see Nintendo really be relevant again, not just for the fans. You know, and Sega too. I'm a big Sega fan. I gotta say the Switch. The Switch is getting some good reception as well. People that I know completely disregarding Nintendo are finally believing them again. So people are jumping back on that hype train. And I kind of wonder what will it take for Nintendo, not Nintendo, Sega to do the same? Cause I'm more of a Nintendo guy, of a Sega guy. Sorry, I keep saying Nintendo. That's how tired I am. What you doing, Blue? Oh, she's sleeping. She's like having a weird dream and like purring in her sleep. You know, I like to see Sega succeed. See, Sega, I think, also needs help with the Sega, with the online stuff, creating that ecosystem. They're clearly trying to get to do that. I wonder if they just really like put it out there, like, hey, what would you like to see come back? And followed up on things that the fans are asking for, really kicked ass with it. Maybe we get some venture capital behind it. They could get some cash infusion again and do some big things. Like, again, get with the developers who made Panzer Dragoon Saga, you know, Dragon Force. I'm sorry, Thunder Force. Completely different games. No, I was right. Dragon Force. Thunder Force is the shmup. Dragon Force is the side-scrolling army beat-em-up strategy game. It's pretty crazy. It's epic. You know, the little-known games like Illbleed, Secret of Lotus War, which I really loved. I think it was one of the best Diablo alternatives ever made. They had a really sick rune system that added so much depth to the game. There's so many things that they could build upon. Heck, even really obscure things and weird things like Seaman or Seventh Cross Evolution, or that RPG game that people forgot about, Evolution. I thought that was a really charming game. Oh gosh, Skies of Arcadia. You know, there's games that I think if they got behind them, set up some kind of deal, got some, you know, investment involved, the fans really supported it and crowdfunded, whatever they need to do to get it pushed, I bet you they could bounce back. Will we ever see a Dreamcast 2? Maybe not. And I think that's what needs to happen. I think the market's really tough right now. I feel like it only supports 3 big consoles, if you even call Nintendo Switch a big console. They're kind of in their own little pool, playing their own little kiddie pool. And you know, I can't even say a gaming PC competes with consoles, because the console's a console. You get a console because you want the console experience, which the game PC gaming is never going to be, because it's not a easy out of the box thing. It's not a uniform experience. It's not shareable because there's so many variables. But you know, there are some commonalities. But I don't think it's an either or proposition. But anyway, I'm rambling, guys. So I'm just gonna play the sped up version of our outro song and bid you a fond farewell for now. Next week we'll be back at the same bat channel, same bat time, and hopefully I'll have a lot more zest. Let's go with that. We'll be done with the inventory at work, and I'll finally get ahead of projects, and should have some big news too from the IRL front. And hopefully War Child will join us. If not, I'm gonna try to secure some other guests, since I know Beard is off until August, I believe. So anyway, I'm out of here. See you next week. Peace.